right, so we should be going live again. I'm sorry for the confusion. Zoom will not let me custom stream, so that lovely preview link that was ready to go is not happening, but we are here now, and that's what's important, So welcome to our winter's REST-O-RAMA. Welcome. And I hope you're ready to figure this out. How are we going to rest during winter? I feel like they do everything but want you to rest. Like they're like, shop, party, everything but resting. Even in the beginning of the year, right? They're like, full steam ahead. Know everything that you're supposed to do already. Go. Last one out is a loser. So we are anti that. And so we're doing a good amount today on just how are you going to find your time to rest. Welcome, Susi. Thanks for joining me. This is Susi of the Happified Podcast. Everybody clap.
We're rolling with it. You know, every day's an adventure, and it's not easy to unsubscribe from the hustle and the bustle, so we just keep making choices, right? Which stream? Where are we going? Let's be here now, Monifa. Let's be here now.
Yes. So I'm just checking in on the live stream to make sure that you are hearing everything, and it looks like everything is a go. So yeah, I just wanted to make sure that's happening. That is in real time. And yay. So I think we're ready to go. Are you ready to talk about winter's rest?
Yes. I'm posting a quick link over on the Facebookies for folks who are looking for the stream. I am so ready to get into this process that I have been hearing about and warming up to and craving so much over these last years since you and I have become creative partners. That's what I've called you now. Did you know that I've upgraded myself to be your creative partner, Monifa?
I love it. I am with it. All about that life. Absolutely. And yeah, so that's why we're here. That is why we're here. So we have not just one, not just two, but 5 yummy documents in which you can go along with the kind of way that I like to do my winter's rest and review. Let's talk about that as separate things. The rest part and the review part. And then during review, we harken back to rest as needed, because that is the primary point of this. So let's go ahead and get into the document so at least you can see it. I did pull it. I want to see if it's still here for everybody. Yes. Well, that's a good idea. I'm putting it here, but I need to put it on YouTube. I'm like, what do I do? What do I do here? So, here we go. I think it's gonna... Oh, no, that works. It's gonna let me chat in my own box. It should, right? I used to just automatically sign you on. Here we go. There we go. I had to press another button. All right, there you go. It's in the chat. Fabulous. So we're going to start with our first document. So when you get your link, what it's going to do is going to take you to a folder, the folder of the extravaganza of REST-O-RAMA. So it's a whole folder. So what you want to find first, and when you get in there, is the start here document. Okay, it's going to say start here. Okay, that's the one you want. So when you click on that, it's going to give the kind of the rules of the game, So I'm giving everybody time to get there so that we are doing this together. We're doing this together. Here we go. And there we go. And now everybody can see. Bueno. So here is the first document. And the reason why we've had them have them on separate parts is because we wanted to be able to say, okay, you can focus on this now. Now, the way I do Winter's Rest is kind of a mashup. It really is a lot of time of resting. If I get super bored, I might start pulling out the calendars and all the things that we're going to talk about in a little bit. But I always have some kind of just clean point of not doing anything for at least, I would say, a few days. So in the beginning, sometimes I need fun first. So sometimes it looks like watching Christmas movies and playing on my phone and maybe catching up with books I haven't read in a while. I said I was going to read and didn't read, or I didn't feel like I had time to read, which is a weird idea. But I mean, like, if you want to read the book, you read the book. I still read a lot of books, but sometimes there's just some books I want to kind of maybe take more time with, and I'm like, no, I want a different time so I can really delve into it. You know what I'm saying? So that is the truth of how I experience Winter's Rest for myself. But if people want to be more organized about it, then you can really do this in sections and really have a time set aside for each section. What do you think? What sounds fun to you, Susie?
Well, I think the part that I've, not gonna lie, always been jealous about is that resting part. And yes, catching up on books or just making space to be, because we do tend to fill in those spaces. And I think as I'm coming to understand, as I get more insights and experience with this delicious process, is that it's that space where things have the opportunity to come up. So it's not resting so we can catch up on things, it's resting so we can enjoy, appreciate, savor a little bit of space. What a gift.
Exactly. And that is the tricky part. Let me tell you, like anything that's good for you, the hard part is to actually do it. Because, we are used to entertaining our brains. And so the true rest is literally doing nothing. Literally nothing. If you're not sleeping, then you're not doing anything. It's like nothing. And so sometimes I will sit for meditation, but to me, even sitting for meditation is something, right? So you're putting your body into this place where it has to be for a time, and then you're focusing on however you focus to meditate. And sometimes it's even, what do they call it? Led. It's like meditation.
The guided
Like
meditation.
guidance. Yes,
Yeah.
guided meditation. So it's this, my equivalent to nothing is literally staring into space and nothing is happening. So I could be staring into literal space like walls, or it could be like a tree, or it could be nothing. I'm thinking about actually putting my dark mask and blackout mask and just
Oh.
see how long I last, kind of thing.
I'm envisioning well, we're both California girls, so not so much snow falling outside of our window, but as if gazing out that window, just watching the yard turn white. Ooh, taking me back to my childhood. Or
Yeah.
putting the little fireplace logs on the TV and just flame gazing, like candle gazing. Ooh.
That sounds lovely. That is actually I love that feeling. I've done that before, and I think that's a good idea. I think I might do that sometime soon, because it's kind of like this, and fire crackling is just an amazing sound. It really just calms the nerves. And it is a Hertz thing, if anybody was into sound, binaural beats, that kind of thing. It is something where our bodies come back to the natural elements of Earth, feeling this. So, highly recommend. Great idea, Susie. So
Oh.
remember that, because when you start looking at the documents, you're going to be like, that's a lot of stuff. And if it ever gets to that point where it feels overwhelming, you want to remember that it's the whole point is to feel rested and restored. So anytime that you're moving back into overwhelm, it's time to go back to nothing, right? So let's remember that all together now. Rest is the first point of winter's rest-O-RAMA. All right, and then as we go through, like I do, so like I said, sometimes I like to have some fun first, and sometimes it means doing stuff that I hadn't done before. Like I have craft projects that I haven't done in forever. And part of fun is like doing the things that I really wanted to do. I just haven't made time for yet. Right. So it sometimes takes off the like otherwise it feels like a force, like almost like you're putting yourself in the corner, right? Like if you're going straight into nothingness, it can feel like, something that you've prescribed yourself, and it doesn't feel as good. But if you do something fun first, then it can feel like, oh, and then also I want to do this, right? And just stare in the walls, right? So that we don't have to sit and do nothing. You don't have to meditate. You don't have to be highly spiritual in this time. You could just not do anything and not think about anything. Like the more duh you can get, the better. Duh. That should be a meditation. Duh. um, So yeah, and I these have gone for a long time. So sometimes like my goal is to move into full rest in that first week, to go into at least 3 days of solid like nothingness. And it has been times when that has not happened. It can take longer than you think it should take. It can feel restrictive because you might actually want to do something that's work, like cleaning, like you know, doing things for other people. That is not allowed when you're resting.
That's different from
So
rest.
that is not resting, okay? So that's the thing. So maybe have some time where you can go ahead and get those things that will feel good to go ahead and get done for other people. I like to go ahead and set my timers and everything so that people are getting my away messages. They're tasky, but they're also on the way to fun and rest, right? And so, yeah, so I might actually do a few things before I stare into space. And as much time as you need is as much time as you give yourself. That's kind of the principal rule of rest, period. That's why it's a period. That's why it's not like 2 weeks of rest, 1 week of rest, 3 days of rest. No, it's a period. And then you can kind of go through phases, but it's a whole thing. Okay. I think that's what people sense for me when I'm going into rest. My rest period is like, Manifa's not just like going on vacation, which is doing something. She's not, she's arrested. Like she's literally not available to life. And that is the truth of it. Like I don't answer the phone unless I feel like it'll be fun, right? All of that stuff. I don't have to do anything. That is the fun part to me. So setting that time aside. So this may mean communicating. If you're not doing the chores, who's doing the chores? Somebody's gonna have to feed you, right? That's the part of something that you might have to prepare for. I mean, but some people find cooking fun, right? So if you find it fun, no rules here. It's just about allowing yourself to feel good in the time. And then any fasting that may come up. So, what do you think are kind of some parameters you would set up, Susie?
For the fasting or all together. You know, I mean digital detox, right? The digital fasting as much as anything else. And it's not easy to carve out time from those influences. So I think that it kind of is that cyclical process. As you begin, I feel like more things become apparent. Oh, I don't need to do this or that, right? You might start off with a fast and say, okay, I'm cleansing my body. I'm gonna stick with this and avoid those and keep it super clean and let myself just rest. I tend to kind of do it backwards and say, and peel things off a layer at a time. I'm going to fast from this, and then I'm going to fast from that, and then I'm going to remove this. I kind of like take off a layer and see what's underneath.
I like that idea of layers. Yeah. For me, it's like kind of sometimes it's food. It's a food thing first, especially if it's easier. Like if, especially if I was single, like I would just fast. I would just not eat anything because then I wouldn't have to cook, and clean the dishes, and I'm done.
Oh, I love
So
it.
I would just skip the whole, the whole thing. Um, and yeah, and then sometimes I just, it's very clear. Like I just need to get away from screens. I fast from my computer for a time. How long that is how long it feels good, right? But it's, I fast from my computer because I am a computer girly. Like I love, I love my computer and my phone and all my things and all my notes and all my documents, right? So just kind of stepping away from activity is part of that peeling back the layers for me. And yeah, and sometimes during like I've done full meditation retreats where the objective is to meditate. So that's the primary focus, not resting, meditating, which is a different thing than resting. Okay. All right. So just so you know where I'm going with this. And so, yeah. And so it depends on what kind of stage I'm in and all that kind of thing on what is the most important piece of it. Right. So, so yay. I love that. So fasting can be part of it or it cannot be a part of it. It's up to you and it's up to what feels good to you. Otherwise, we forget why we're doing the thing in the first place, right? So there is that. Sleep. Oh my gosh. What if some of y'all, I swear to God, I wish I could just give you a sedative and just put you somewhere. Like some of y'all do not sleep. It's really distressing to me that you do not sleep. Like sometimes maybe your rest period is sleeping for like see how long you cannot get out the bed. That may be your rest period. Like
Bed
can
it,
I
bed
sleep for
it.
48 hours? Let's
John and Yoga
see.
style.
You know what I'm
Well, and
saying?
also, they say we need to find out what our natural sleep rhythm is, and so this could be the perfect opportunity. No alarms. Tune into your body's rhythms. Go to sleep when you're sleepy, wake up when you're awake, and see over the course of several days, after you've caught up on your sleep, you're going to start cueing into your natural body rhythms. But it takes time.
Exactly. Yeah, I think so. Of course, the person's right outside my door right now, but my window. I mean, but
Whoa!
but
They're
yeah,
not
I
going to
think
hear
it is. That is one of my objectives is to get back to my natural wake up time without an alarm during winter's rest. Actually, I forgot about that one, but it is here. So so yeah, that is a great one. See how long you know how because the first few times you might need 10, 12, 14, 18 hours and then it'll kind of peel back to what's more natural for you. So just give yourself as much time as you can earthly take sleeping. So that's the plan there. Um, so that the whole point of this essentially is to get to a place where you're only doing things based on the impetus of an internal desire, right? So that's why we kind of start with fun, because if you already know what you want to do for fun, then that's a good cue to go do that, right? So it's turning into what you want, and then when we get into the nothingness, we're kind of peeling back these pieces that are like, I just want to play on my phone because I've been overthinking for 20 hours. And so now this is the only thing that I can think to do that doesn't give me the anxiety of I'm not doing enough, right? Like, so you start peeling back those layers Susie was talking about, and it helps us get to the clarity of what we really, like what's really truthful and motivating for us. And then setting the time, this is all about like decide how this is going to look for you. Like sometimes mine's a mishmash, sometimes I'm really kind of only doing fun things until I'm ready to rest. I'm only doing resting until I'm ready to review, right? And then your review time is a different time. My rest period, at its, not at its max, I've gone longer, but literally of doing nothing, including not reviewing, has gone 2 weeks. It's about 2 weeks. And then it's gone longer. It's gone 2.5, 3 weeks, especially after COVID. It was probably closer to 3.5 weeks. It was long. Okay. I didn't get to my review and planning until well into January, right? It was like 2-3 weeks into January. So that's totally cool. That's totally cool. If it takes that long, if you have not rested enough for that amount of time, then sometimes that is what's necessary.
Tell us a little bit about how what are your signs, understanding that everybody's different and going to have your own signs, but what are Monifa's signs that you are rested? You have completed your rest cycle. How do you know that then it's time to start reviewing?
Yeah. For me, it's that I honestly, like, it's when I get to the point where I could do it, I could just continue to do it. I'm no longer getting those kind of anxiety triggers of wait a minute, did I forget? Like, if I'm truly rested, then I don't have to do anything. This is the tricky part about resting, y'all. This is why I feel like it should be a whole thing, and this is why we're doing a whole thing about it. Because this is the tricky part. Like, you really have to get to the place where you can convince yourself it's your priority, right? And so that's the first part of resting. It's like, no, really, the point is to do nothing. And when I feel like literally I could just keep rolling from one side of the bed to the other a few more times, and like a few more days, but I'm like, but what's happening in the back of my mind, kind of when I've stopped getting those triggers of what I should do, it is that I'm getting really clear sparks, like really, oh, that would be nice. Oh, that would be nice. Oh, you know what I feel about this? Like, I'm starting to get super intuitive. I get to this space where it's almost like a waking dream kind of feeling. That's usually when it's like, okay, I get a good day and a half of that, and I'm like, okay, it's time to pull out the things. It's time to pull out the things to review and to plan. Because usually I want to plan right away. That's usually my kind of thing. So when I get those sparks, I'm like, ooh, ideas. I'm getting these ideas, and I really want to write them down. For some people, journaling may be part of their rest period, but I actually do my best not to write either. Because it puts me back in idea mode, and it makes me want to complete the idea. And that's what I'm trying to move away from. So it depends on who you are, right? But like, I'm also kind of moving it from journaling, all that kind of stuff, until it's review time. And then I might start with journaling and just see kind of what's popped up during my rest period, So that's how I know. It takes forever, though. I think the first time that's probably the second or third year I did it. And I was really kind of that, like, ooh, things are awakening within. I must move toward these things. And that's kind of my, let's get this party started. So in the review time, we're looking at celebrations, looking over the course of the year. We're looking over our notes. We're going to get more specific about that. We're looking at being present. So Some of this is about like kind of, I don't know, if you're truly in that rest period, if you did it full hog, then sometimes like you're like, what year, what timing? Depends on your brain. My brain doesn't have timing to begin with, so it's still kind of like, if I don't give us a direction, it just kind of throws everything at me, right? Which is where the anxiety comes from. And then if I go blank, like I'm seriously blank, and I'm like, huh, 2025, I'm not sure what that was. Did anything happen? So sometimes it requires pulling out all the things. All right, so I think this is mostly what we've already talked about. Remembering that if when we go into review, our last warning here, if you're starting to get anxious or overwhelmed, then you probably haven't rested enough. So go back and do that. Okay? Okay. See how long. I wanted people to come back with how much they are. So wait a minute. Is the master doc, I think the master doc has this stuff in it, right? Or
Yes.
did you? Yeah, you put everything here so that we didn't have to go to that if we didn't want to. But yeah, like the master document has kind of a more space for you to do all these sections, but it gives you a list of it in the starter document of everything that's going to happen on the other documents, and then links for each. Because Susie's amazing. She did that for you.
You can make more notes on the master document. And of course, I love word graphics. What's your word of
Word
the
graphics.
year? Right? What makes 2026 feel juicy?
So good. Yeah, so good. Yeah, so this is the thing. Like, so what the goal? What is the goal of resting? To be generally within yourself, your energy and your capacity. Like, so like that you fill that back up, right? So to feel restored, feel the energy for whatever's next. And in order to do that, you have to have a point of silence, a point of darkness is how I think of it too. And what a lot of people don't talk about in winter solstice is that it is the time that the sun is the strongest. Okay, it is a time the sun is strongest. It is, I don't know what I said to you last time, Susie, but I looked it up just because I'm dyslexic. And then I put, but it is the time the sun is closest to the earth. It's so weird. But winter is the time the sun is closest to the earth. This is why the light is actually the strongest. The strongest. And so that light is our inner light. It's the reflection of our inner light. Sun, if you're into astrology, is your truth of who you are, right? So your light of beingness on this earth. And so you're in the point of resting is to be able to be with that, align to it, receive it, in my opinion. That's why winter is the right time for this. Okay? And so when you've taken that time to see the truth of who you are in that moment, in this now time, not who you were 1,000 years ago, right now, right? Then you can have a better idea of what these things are. What is your purpose? And not the purpose of work, but the purpose of like what you bring to the room, who you be. And for me, that this is like kind of, it can just be a bunch of adjectives. Susie was talking about last year. If you see the video we did last year, she was talking about the I am statements of I am, and I have a lot of statements of how I see myself, my energy, my way of being, and what just shows up when I'm in the room, right? So I have I am flow, I am calm, I am elemental, that's my magical, I am, right? All of these things, I just feel that, and your purpose is to be who you are. That's why we're here. We are here to be who we are in the way that we are, doing things as we are, right? And so that is what you want to put there. The mission is like, what do you want to do with that? What do you want to do with who you are? What do you hope to experience and share, and how do you want to serve? How do you want to see that play out in what's around you, right? And the vision is the stuff. I think of the vision as the actual stuff. So I'm going to, if I get married, it's going to be a white gown. If I buy a house, it's going to have a garden. If I, right, like the fleshing out of the thing. So yeah, do you have anything you want to add there, Susie?
Yeah, I think too, as it says, so we're looking at the master document, but it all weaves together, right? You can spend some more time on the master document. You can kind of collate things over on the overview document. Um, and I find that that helps me because I'm kind of a cyclical person. So if I get stuck on what vision do I want to create in 2026, well, I'm going to go play some more in the words of the year. I'm going to come and sneak up on it sideways and let some more information, some more juicy feelings, emotions, ideas, little glimmers inform the vision rather than feeling like this is a checklist and I have to have the vision before I can move on to the next. So give yourself grace in this process of reviewing and then casting forward. Women,
Yeah.
we flow, ladies.
Thanks for saying that. Because that's what I didn't say. So, master document is actually where you're putting everything from review, right? So, what have you realized after you rested, after you reviewed? And this is kind of where you put the culmination of that. So, I don't think I said that clearly. So, thank you. That is exactly right. So, having that sensibility, getting that tune in, like once you've done some review and all that, this is where we'll kind of have a sense. Oh, yeah, well, last year I never spent enough time journaling. So, I want to make sure that my perfect day includes time for journaling, right? So, that may mean that I'm going to practice going to sleep earlier for my perfect amount of time to sleep, right? For the next day, so I can get up and journal a little bit before I start, or vice versa at the end of the day. Or a little bit of both. Right. So this is the end game document, and it does have links again back to the other documents. That is pretty cool, right? And so yeah, it's made for those of us that may, because something might spark something and you want to go to another area, right? Which is me all day. Like I'll have all my planners out and I'm like, ooh, I want to make sure to do this in my planner for next year. And that's why I have like even a lot of this stuff where I keep it is in my Evernotes so that I can link back to other notes or I can link a note into a document. And you'll see how I do that even for like kind of how I want to focus on information that I have in the year, right? So it's good stuff, man. I'm just saying, for those of us who can not always think in one line, there's two things that are high tools for me: tagging, which is why I love Evernote because I can tag things, and links. So I link to other documents I've created so I don't forget that I've already worked on it in a different way or for a different project, all that kind of thing, you know? So this is the review portion. So this is actually where you would start in the process of who I be over this time period, right? And so for me, I pull out those bullet points. Like I've got several planners, as Susie knows. I have several planners. I do have my Evernotes. Crazy amounts of like thousands and thousands of notes in my Evernotes. I have Google Docs, right? So anything that you basically did in the year 2025, if you're not that crazy and you don't have anything, maybe you just pull out a 2025 calendar. Just pull up a calendar that's blank, that you didn't do anything on. And just look at the days through the months and just be like, oh yeah, in January I did do that. Because sometimes that's what you need. You just need a point of focus so that you can recall. Yeah, it was cold in January, so I really didn't go anywhere. I mostly, right, like just kind of knowing how the year felt. So, what do you have a way that you like to, do you pull out things, or do you just kind of like, yeah, that was 2025?
Yes, because 2025 has been a lot. It's a lot. And just sitting and looking back and thinking, oh, I think I remember what I did this year, I think is going to be pretty misleading because I think all of us have done more than we're ready to give ourselves credit for. So I definitely like to look back. I live by my Google Calendar, so I do scroll back that way because I keep track of things there. And I also like to go back, maybe search a word in my Google documents or in emails, or scroll through the inbox, because I'm not an inbox zero kind of a girl. So my inboxes tend to become filing cabinets of miscellanea, but just different ways to kind of put you back in the frame where you were in January of 2025, in February, in March. What was coming up? Who were you reaching out to? And this isn't, again, I tend to struggle like, oh gosh, I was going to do that thing in March and I didn't do it. That's not what this is for. Instead, this is an invitation to say, oh, right, I initiated that thing and I did this and I started notes on this little project. That felt juicy. And start bringing that back together, because bad experiences are like Velcro and good experiences are like Teflon. And sometimes it's hard to remember the good things because maybe, I don't know about you, but maybe the sticky wickets of 25 are the ones that come first to mind. So slipping back through those is really, really helpful so that we can find more things to celebrate, because they're in there, those gems.
Yes, they are. They are in there. Yeah, I love that idea, going through emails, like, because there's, especially, like, I have separate emails for different people. So if I go through just like kind of my business emails, it might give me a sense of who I've spoken to over the course of the year. If you're not a follow-up person, then it might be like, oh yeah, Julie seemed really interested. I wonder what she's up to and what's, been up for her this year and where she is now, right? Like, and it could just be that checkpoint that you need to get your rolling along. But that is the point, is just to kind of find out, is there something I want to pull forward? Like we were talking last time about how we might have been this close to finishing a project that would have been really cool if we had actually finished it. And why not use that information and keep going? But this is also why I think is a really good thing to have a system of, how do I go back to things, right? How do I go back to things? And I do have my easy organization method. And again, the primary things are having tags, so you know, like, kind of what a project is referencing, or what a piece is referencing. And for me, that's projects. I call it projects. So it could be a project for crafts. It could be a project for my business. It could be a project for my home, right? But anything that takes more than one step is a project. And so that's kind of the first tag. And then, like, kind of its function within the project. Is it education for the project? Is it something that's a system that's going to support me in completing the project, right? Like, it has a tag for all those things. And that's just the way I have to do it, because my brain don't do linear jump. So it's just something you want to be aware of when you're moving into these things, because otherwise it's just frustrating, right? And you're just like, I can't keep track of all this stuff. Well, you don't have to if you already have a place for it, right? That's the whole point of having, like, kind of a way you get there. So it's looking at 2025. I've been doing this for several years, so I literally go back and look at the other things that I have pulled from other years, and I see how much they're still relevant, and I decide whether they're going to continue to carry forward, right? So I have some really brilliant teachings from like books like The One Thing and teachers like Dr. Sue Morter and like so many different beautiful people that have blessed my life, and I try my best to carry that forward and not just stop doing the things that have been working for me, right? Which is totally available with my brain. Like it could just all be fog all the time. That's totally available to me. And so those are the things, and notes to remember. So a lot of times it's about like kind of the life things that I want to really remember. Like I got to do an opera this year, which I didn't know I was ever going to do again, right? To sing publicly and in an opera. And I don't want to forget that I had this amazing experience, right? And that I can feel good about that. Those are the things that help me stay feeling great, right? Is that I've done some cool things. It might have been a hard year, but I've done some cool things, right? Anything else you got on that one, Susie?
I have to confess, I've got like ideas percolating up. I'm like scribbling notes down over here on my notebook to clear the cache so that I can be present. It's so fun because I haven't been feeling like looking forward to next year. And when you start to look at potential and possibilities, and oh, maybe I was closer to a destination than I thought I was, something pulled me away from it. Like, oh, it's popcorn. Things just start sparking up. And so the beauty of giving ourselves this space, that's really the
Yeah.
takeaway, the invitation, the juiciness that we hope everybody, that's why we shared it last year with our sovereign spirits. Like, come play. Let's get in the
Come
space of
play.
possibility.
Let's do it. Yeah. I mean, I had a client that was like, I don't know if I want to talk about my vision for next year. I'm like, that just means you need a rest. That doesn't mean that you don't have one or that you have no like impetus forward. It just means that you need to rest first, right? And so like kind of sitting in that stew of what is for me in this time, and just like let it be. That's why we do it. We call it the be, the do. It's our next section, right? I think I lied. It's the calendar.
Oh,
Did I
first.
skip be do? No, I skipped it.
Yeah,
See,
come
I
back.
was right.
Come back to be do. Doobie 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 doo.
Doo-be-doo-be-doo. Yeah, we were talking about the Frank last time because it was so perfect when you talked about that. So yeah, so this is essentially all the things that start piling up while you're doing your review. And again, like I said, I tend to bounce around these. These are separate notes for me in Evernote, and then I literally have links to each of them from each of them. And then if I'm in review and I'm going through my planning and what I want to pull forward into what's important and what is going to continue to speak to me this as I move forward, then I'm also like, oh, that makes me think of doing this, and that makes me think of doing that. I'm having all these ideas about my business and about what I could do, like a community or whatever. So I have to go put it somewhere. Otherwise, I will get distracted or I'll try to start it in the middle of the review process. So I have to go put it on this doobie doobie doo is another version of task list, right? So it's just it's another list that we do. And so I want to keep track of all the things. So including fun and um, and when I do get to plan, all that kind of stuff. So this is kind of how I talk about what I want to do to get ready for 2026. So when I say plan, I'm preparing to plan the prayer, prepare to the plan, to the prepare to the plan. You'll see how this is redundant a little in a little bit. But the truth is, like, if I didn't do this, then I wouldn't have something to come back to. You understand what I'm saying? Like, if I was just going to start putting down tasks, then I don't know if I'm putting down tasks for my health or if I'm putting down tasks for my, right? I kind of need this list to be able to even make the other one. Does that make sense, Susie? Am I crazy? I think
Totally. I was looking at the two documents and I'm like, wow, I wish I hadn't left all of those check boxes. Although I do love a checkbox because I feel good when I check things off the list. And so it's just a really good way to get an overview, because sometimes we fall into one aspect of planning and we're missing some other things. And that's what I love about adopting Monifa's tried and true system, is that she's walked this walk. She's like, oh, but wait, what about your astrology for 2026? Let's pull some reports. Let's check out some forecasts. You know, what reading was on your list that you didn't get to? Or what authors are starting to, like, let you know things are coming? I know I pre-ordered Sue Morter's next book.
Did you? I didn't even think about it. I just tuned in back into her because I started doing yoga again. And I didn't even know she had a book. I'm like, now I'm excited. So,
or courses. That's what I've been writing down, is like, what do I want to learn in 2026? Well, here's some things I was excited to learn in 25 or even 24. And I got distracted, and the program is sitting there waiting for me to come back. Lifelong learner. Who's with me?
Always. Every day, girl. Every day. So yeah, exactly that. And one of the things that I put in here is my cleaning objectives, because I don't like cleaning, so maybe that's not the right word. I think of it as organization, which I do like organizing. And really what I'm organizing is the space. And this comes from principles of feng shui. But essentially what you want is for your spaces to feel like you get to do what you want to do, right? So that may mean making things feel that way first and then getting the inspiration. Depends on the person, right? But I think if we don't have it in there, and if you're like me, I'm like, cleaning's for people who have no ideas. I'm kidding. But if you ever just not your priority, this is a good time to make it a priority. You want to get your cleaning in before spring, so making a plan for it, you know, in winter, I think is a good idea. You don't have to get to it right away, but I feel like the earlier you think about it, the less you're stressed about getting it done. This is why I like planning, right? Because it takes that anxiety piece out of it for me. Just like, okay, so yeah, I do want to clean up some stuff. I'm probably going to want to move my room or my furniture, so I probably want to set a few more days aside than I would before, right? It just makes it easier. Anyways, categories that Susie was speaking to. Astrology is like a week for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, if it's done properly, it takes time. And this is part of what I also do to get my planners ready. So just so you know, like, I have several planners. Each of them need the moon dates on there if they don't come already within the planner, which what planner would you buy that doesn't have moon dates?
Say, when Monifa finally publishes her planner, she's going to make life so much easier for the rest of us. I'm looking forward to that. Not writing in all the moon dates. I really thought about
having it done today. But, but I was like, I'm not doing that to myself. But look out for it in January, because I feel like we can come back to this. We can come back to review in January, because that's usually when I'm doing it anyways. And then you might be the first person to see my trial planner, because I'm going to try it out first this year and then see how people like it. And then maybe the official thing will come out next year. But yeah, so join the party on that one. Reading. Like, who has like a to read thing? I just, once a year, I go to Goodreads and I see like how many books did I read, and I see like kind of what's still on my to read list. Because I feel like I know. I used to have anxiety about that too. Like, I was like, I'm never gonna read all the books that I want to read. It's really sad. Um, uh, if you're not that emotional about it, still, sometimes like a book is like, oh, that was a good idea when I cared about that, but maybe you can take it off your to read list now, right? Courses. This is, I'll say it till I die. Have a place where you put all your courses, including the free ones, because people put time into that shit. They're usually really good, right? Because they're made to have you have an experience so you can be interested and continue to be in that person's life. So they're usually really good, and if you really take the time to do them, you can get a lot out of it. I put the course, I put the link to the course page, I put the sign in and my password if I was crazy enough to do something crazy, and and I put it all linked into my notes, right? You can make a document and do the same thing if you don't like Evernote, but it's free, so who cares? Like, just, well, I guess Evernote, you can have a limit of 100 notes now, so maybe just make a Google Doc, that works too. But think of how much time that saves if you are going like, what was that course name again? What was where did I put my last email? Where did I put my link? Where did I put my, right? Like, it saves so much time. And I do the same thing for my projects, by the way. I have my notes that are related to those projects. I have my notes. I have my courses that are related to the systems that I use for those projects. You see what I'm saying? Like, how much time that saves? And people are like, you're still using Visionary Business School? I'm like, yeah, I'm still using Visionary Business. Paid money for that shit.
Thanks, Ryan. Like, templates in there.
Yes.
But only if you remember that there are templates in there. Use your tools. Use your tools. Stop reinventing the wheel. We can give ourselves a leg up.
And if you have no idea where you put it, then like, what's the chance you're going to actually go back? Like, we barely could remember when we were in the course, right? Like, just make it easy on yourself. You know what I'm saying? And my fasting protocols. So, like, again, I have to fast for spring because I'm healthy. And it's the one I did not fast at all this year outside of spring. I feel the same way about cleaning as I feel about, like, I feel like if you don't do any other fast in your life, do a fast for spring. At minimum, like, do your best. See what you can cut out. If you could cut out sugar, your body will thank you. If you can cut out, like, just one thing, before spring, or for spring. So again, that may take planning. You might have to be like, what can I eat that doesn't have sugar in it? And so making a protocol for that. I remember the word bhavana, a vision for how you want to feel when you're finished with the fast. That's Indian way of looking at it. So how do I want to feel? How do I want to see and feel, like, see myself or see the world, right? And what will be different? Like, what will be different in my five senses when I have completed this fast? And I think it's a good way to go into anything manifested, any vision. It's like, see how it would feel. What would it be like to have the experience of having your first customer or having, a party? How do people want to feel in the room? This is really our jobs when we're thinking about our businesses and leadership and that kind of thing. If you're here and about that life, So we have, I think I have one more. Let's see. Going back. So this might look extraneous. You're like, what? Remember, I said, be prepared to plan the prayer. This is another list about planning to plan your year. So not just your winter's rest, but to remember to review throughout the year. And that to me always includes rest. You need a point in which you can kind of just be a blank slate so that the next thing can start to reveal itself. Susie, what is on your mind as you look at yet another list?
Well, I was just thinking, like, this is the best checklist to bring to your planner if you're a planner girl. Like, make sure you've got, and I need reminders. Like I already confessed, I live by my calendar. So bi-weekly planning and scheduling, I have to calendar that if that's going to happen. My cycle tracking, I have to update the whole crazy way that I conceived of tracking my cycles and get that ready for 2026 and reset, and then kind of do a little gentle forecasting, but be ready to track that as I go along. The moon phases, vacation dates, that's always something I look forward to, writing that into my calendar. What am I already planning on and what would I like to? 5 days darkness of summer. Monifa, talk with us about that. See, you're so good about honoring the seasons, the cycles, the energies. Really good reminder.
Yes, they're important. They're important. Like, honestly, otherwise we don't know why we feel the way we feel. We feel through the seasons. Like, why don't we feel ready to think about 2026 yet? Anybody know? Because it's winter. Okay, we're going into winter. And we're not ready. We're ready to hibernate. We're ready to like work in the field less. We are not ready to think about next year yet. Right? And so if you're paying attention to the seasons, you can start feeling a little less crazy. Like the world will make you crazy because it makes you think that it's normal. And it's just not. It's just not. It's not natural. It's not normal. Right? No. And nature is natural. So seasons are nature. And then we can get ourselves together a little bit more. Summer, the 5 days of darkness in summer is the kind of the opposite, I guess. It's opposite, right? So in winter, we're receiving our inner light. And that's why we have to kind of go into the darkness. We have to literally like kind of take ourselves out of the frame of the goings on so that we can sense the inner light. In summer, there's 5 days of darkness around the solstice, the summer solstice. So, and it's about what is the influence of our reality, of our world, right? And so for a lot of us, that looks like God. In the Kemetic tradition, it is the creator gods, essentially, the ones that created the universe and all the things, and then waters and then stars and like, so the kind of the creator gods, essentially. So it's one of those things of really having that time to honor, what has come before you is kind of another way to look at it. So it's a great time. This is why all the times are great, but this is also a great time to kind of honor the people that have come before you, which is like your own family, your own lineage, but also it is who prepared the land before you. Like, I like to remember that people fought and died on the land that you're on. People prayed on the land that you're on. And all of that is part of why we get to produce food, produce life, produce energy, produce money on this land. So it's never a bad idea to take time to honor it, Summer's a great time to do that. Summer's a great time to enjoy that. So even, and I think also, I don't know, if you go on vacation, it's a great practice as well. Like saying a thank you, honoring the land that you're on and not just kind of taking, right? So it's just, again, we've done a lot of things that feel normal now. But, and that's, we can't be put at fault for things that we didn't know, right? And it's just a matter of if we choose to remember, like, it's never a bad idea. It's never a bad idea. So yeah, and then this is what that is. This is like I've that's what there's two things I make sure I do: astrology for the year. If I do nothing else, if I sometimes I don't have time, I don't go through all my notes, I don't go through all my calendars and all that. You know, it is what it be. I go as far as I can, and then if I get bored, I stop. Like that's what that's how it works for me, right? But what I do is I set up these times in my planner for next year. So my Google Calendar has a version of my planning, my biweekly planning, and then this other stuff is usually just in my planners. So when am I going to do those things? Having that time. So this is in my calendar. Like I have a day that I say, okay, I'm going to really focus on marketing. Right? So those are all things. Let's see if anything else I'm lying. Nope, everything else I have. Like everything else is literally in the planner. It's just there. You need to know. Like this I haven't done in a year. And just having it on this list, like I need to bring that back. Like I did not set enough time aside to plan for quarterly this year. Partly that was because this year was fast and furious and scary and really confusing. There was a lot of kind of discombobulating events that just planning wasn't really a thing. It was really just kind of how do I navigate the now, right? So that was part of the reason. So I'm not gonna like poop on myself for that, but I know I want it back. I know I like that time. So I'm going to plan for what I want, and then if life comes up differently, then it is what it is. And that's what I want you to realize too. Like anybody who hates calendars, like it's just like I hate having a goal because what if I miss it? That feeling. Like just so you know, you are the goddess or god of your calendar. Like you can take it off, you can put it on, you can shift it to another date, you can say this was a dumb idea, throw the whole thing out, right? Like it's up to you. Don't let your calendar dictate to you. Just let it remind you of what you used to think was important, and you can decide if it still is, right?
Yes. Yeah, I've heard some people say, oh no, if it doesn't make my list, it is not getting on my list this year. My list is sacred. It is determined. I can't work like that. Things come up. And then that ends up on my list, and it might mean something else falls off of my list. I don't think giving ourselves grace is the same thing as letting ourselves off the hook, something we should feel badly about. Just like Monifa was saying, we're looking into what lights us up, what feels aligned, what matches our energy. And we have been put into this system that is a lot more like masculine energy on a 24-hour clock and tied to something more consistent than going in cycle with our with our seasons, with all of that. So women are different. Don't feel guilty if we don't align with the Western accepted productivity calendar. Give yourselves a little bit of grace. Keep a little bit of room for things that light us up. I think that's permissible. Maybe you have to operate differently. Different strokes for different folks.
Yeah, I mean, even in my calendars, I do have a biweekly, so that kind of keeps me in the Gregorian biweekly framework. My astrology calendar is decans. It's in 10-day increments. Okay, and as much as possible, I think of my projects in decans. So when I say that, I mean, if I'm starting something new or if I'm wanting to complete something, I choose that week. So I have essentially 3 a month, right? It's 30 days or so in a month. So if it's between the days of 1 and 9, I'm in the first decan. Between the days of 10 to 19, I'm in the second decan. And when you give yourself that much more grace of like completing, understanding what happened, which is review, and like how I want to move forward, trash it, build on it, right? Like if you give yourself those extra 3 days grace, it feels like you have so much time, but you never feel rushed, you know? And I think of my weekly as like kind of highlights of that. But I do my best. I do my best to think in decons because as soon as I go back to 7 days, I'm like, there's not enough time. I don't have time this week. I don't have enough time this week. I don't know if I'm gonna get everything in this week, right? Like it always feels rushed. So especially the bigger projects that take more steps, they're a sign. And I think again we can all choose less things to do. There are three important things a month. I think is great because you're going to force so much else into it just by the nature of life. So just three. Three is good. I know it's hard because I have so many ideas, and honestly, but if I prioritize those three, I'm more likely to get the others done. You know, if I think, oh, I should do this and this and this and this and this and this and this, then you know, you might not see me for a while because I have pushed out anything actually getting done. So that's the thing. That's the thing. You think about the thing when it's important, not on top of everything else. You know? So I hope you liked your winter's REST-O-RAMA. Anything you want to leave us with, Susie? Anything we missed?
Take a look. I'm scrolling back through the overview list. I think it's a lot. I think it feels like a lot to hear and to digest. We covered a lot of ground in our power hour today. I'm excited to hear what people think. Leave us comments and let us know how it lands. What might you do differently? What part of this might you seize onto? We hope that you give yourself permission to do the whole juicy process. And let us know where you're going to begin.
Yes. Yes. Again, priority is rest. But like if we did, I mean, I could talk about rest for an hour, but we won't do that to you. Yeah, and that's the truth of it. Like the first and the beginningness is rest. I start mine on winter's solstice, and I give myself a solid 2 weeks, and then after that, it depends. It depends on where I'm at, how I'm feeling, and then review. Like again. Theoretically, I'm ready by the second week because I've rested a whole week, right? And then the reality looks different. Usually I start sometime in January, and it's just a matter of like, okay, did I? And that one list that had like astrology and all that, it's like, ooh, I'm at my astrology point, and it is like that's my favorite part, obviously. But yeah, that's not like the only time I do it either. Like I'm doing astrology now for the year. So I'm already building out my 2026 reference spreadsheet for, because I look at like 3 different types of astrology. So I need it all in one place for the way I like to talk about it. So that's what I'm working on now. So I'm hoping to get it done before the rest period. That way I can say I get to that I don't try to do it while I'm supposed to be resting.
Right? Then you just get to scan over it, see what shows up. That's another thing you might have to figure out how to publish is, or a special offering. Astrology
Well,
spreadsheet.
the Tali stress. Well, like again, that's kind of why I think I could have probably put it into the planner. Because I'm thinking if I just put it in a planner where it's kind of a reference point for all the shifts, right? And then yeah, people will be able to use it however they think of it.
Right?
Yeah.
Let Monifa know if she needs to make this a priority so the rest of us can benefit her organizational prowesses.
Yeah. It's possible. Yeah, we'll see. I'm excited. I'm thinking of doing a whole thing in January, February of like doing the review and organization and maybe even a little feng shui.
As we get ready for our fire horse year.
It is going to be a fast one, guys. This is why I really thought it was important to do this year. I really did. I think that's like the more we can make space for ourselves, really, really settle in, the less we'll feel, you know, beat about the head during 2026 because it's going to move. And for people like me who are slow movers, it's a lot, right? So this is your time to just fully rest, fully recuperate, really have a sense of how you want to move forward, and then allow things to move as needed throughout the year, but not to lose track of who you are in the meantime. So it's really important. It's like the better you can do that through 2026, the more you'll be ready for 2027. This 2027, for those who follow human design, know that it's moving over to the cross of the sleeping phoenix. And there's a lot about not being able to kind of go back. This is really the time to know who you are.
It's an 11 year too. 11's a big transitions, big gateway energy.
It's gateway on top of gateway. Y'all do not understand. Human design is not the only thing that's talking about that gateway. Pam Gregory. It's like foremost astrologer of astrology of in UK. Mm-hmm. And she had, like, I highly recommend, maybe I'll put a link to it in the description, because she spoke with Richard Rudd about this upcoming year and next year.
I slept on that one. She's been doing great interviews. I gotta go find that.
I mean, I know. I watched a few of them this year. Yeah, really great interviews. And they talked about like kind of going into 2026, going into 2027, and like why, like what I'm saying right now is real. It's like a real thing.
I gotta go listen to it right now. I gotta go. I love you all. Bye.
So I love you. And bye. But yeah, like, totally recommend it, and it is real. Like, and you know me, I'm all about knowing who you are, because oh God, like this is not a time to not know who you are, because we cannot make choices based on the external world. I've said this a billion times. You cannot make choices based on the external world. You have to know who you are
out there
and what you're going to be doing regardless of what happens out there. And yeah, so that's the truth of who you are, not you with money, you with things, you with whatever. You, and you as you, with you, be you. That part.
You be you, be you.
Do be do, you do be do. I'm so glad that we thought about it at the same time. All right, folks, we're going to let you go so you can hang out. I'll put the link in the description for Pam and Richard. And enjoy. See you guys on the next one. Thank you, Susie.
Oh, thank you, Monifa. Such a treat. Always fun to play with you.